Now, if you've been in Premiere Pro for a little bit now, you might have realized that the masking controls are now gone underneath opacity. You might be wondering, where did they go? Well, in the latest version of Premiere Pro, they are actually moved to a dedicated tool inside the tools bar. And in this video, what I'm going to be doing is deep diving into this new tool and show you how it works inside Premiere Pro, or Premiere, I guess. They dropped the Pro in the latest version, and I guess it's just called Premiere now. But either way, let's take a look at how to use this new tool inside Premiere Pro. Alright, so I'm inside Adobe Premiere, and you'll notice that there's a new tool in the latest version, at least from 2026 forward, called the Object Mask tool. Now, this is just one of the several new features inside Premiere Pro, and if you want to check out all of the latest features, I did make a video going over it. I'll link it in the top right corner of your screen. But what this tool essentially does is replace the masking controls inside Effect Controls. Because if you click on this clip and you go inside Effect Controls, like I mentioned earlier, you don't see any of the masking controls in here anymore. So in order to make a mask, what you have to do is use this new tool. So with the clip selected on your screen, you can select the Object Mask tool. And if you hold down, you'll notice that you have 4 different tools. You first have the Object Mask tool, then you have the Ellipse Mask tool, Rectangle, and Pen Mask tool. So the Object Mask tool is completely new, and this uses AI to actually track and detect objects in your scene, where the other tools are what you can imagine what used to be inside the effect controls for the opacity and different effects. But if we select the Object Mask tool, how this works is if you hover over different subjects on your screen, you'll see that they are highlighted. And what you can do is actually select them using that tool. So with the clip selected, you can easily click once in your program monitor to make a selection. You can see that we've selected our subject here. Now you have some controls underneath here. First, you have the overlay style, so you can choose from red, green, or different colors. You can also choose none if you don't want to see a highlighted color there. Now you also have this lasso and rectangle tool. And as you can see here, it selected some of the subject, but not all of it. So if you wanted to make fine-tune adjustments, you can use these tools here and the plus and minus to either add to the selection or subtract from the selection. So with the lasso tool selected and with the plus selected here, I can easily just click around this area here and close it off to add that selection to my mask. I can continue adding more or less by just simply clicking and dragging and making lasso selections around different areas of my screen. Now, Premiere Pro automatically recognizes the subject. So let's say if you wanted this subject and this subject, you can easily click once without using the lasso or rectangle tool to add several different subjects to your screen. And likewise, if you wanted to remove it, you can just go to the minus button and then click once to remove a subject. So from here, with our selected subject here, inside Effect Controls, you'll notice that we have the object mask under the unassigned masks here. So this mask currently is unassigned, but you can later move this mask to either opacity or any other effect inside the software. But first, what you can do is use the tracker tool to track this mask forward and backward. So you have different options here. I suggest using the center button because this tool allows you to track forward and then it will backtrack and track backwards as well. Or if you do just forwards, it'll just go forwards, or backwards, we'll just go backwards. So I'm going to click on this button here. As you can see, we have the tracking controls. I'll just leave this up full time here in full speed so that you can see how fast the tool actually runs. You can see that for about, I believe this clip is 28 seconds long. It's really quick considering, like, comparing it to the rotoscoping tool inside Adobe After Effects. This is a much quicker rotoscope or masking. As you can see, it's working backwards now. So this is a nice tool to use in a pinch if you don't want to go into the complexity of After Effects and using that rotoscoping tool. This is a nice and quick, easy way to do it inside Premiere Pro. But once it's done here, you have other options down below as well for feather and opacity and expansion of the mask. And this can be altered either here or once it's applied to an effect. If we go out forward, we can kind of see how well it did. It did a really nice job. If we click and play this back, you can see that it did a nice job outlining our subject. So like I mentioned, you can add this to opacity or any other effect. So if you want, let's say, to cut her out and maybe add some text in the background, you can easily do that by clicking and dragging this mask to opacity. And this will essentially assign this mask to the opacity property. And from here, what you would do just to do that type of effect, to add text underneath her, I would first duplicate this clip. So I'm going to hold down Option on my keyboard and click and drag up to video track 3 to duplicate it. And then click on this clip here, the underneath layer, and remove the mask by clicking on it and clicking delete. Then what you can do is grab your type tool, and then click once out in the program monitor, add in your text. I'm just gonna realign this here, get in position. And what you can do is put this underneath or in between the two layers. So it's underneath the top layer, but over the background. You can see this is an easy way to add text over someone. Now I did want to point out that from here, if we zoom in here, the edges are a little rough. You can see using this tool, it kind of is similar to the green screen effect where sometimes it has rough edges or it's not really that smooth. From here, you have a few different options that you can explore. You can click on the clip and maybe go down to feather and feather it out. This can work nicely, but it depends if it's a little too rough, it might not work. And for that, one workaround that you could do is possibly nest this clip and add the roughen edges effect to it. So just to show you how that works, I'm gonna right click and go to nest. I'm gonna click OK for now. And then inside my effect panel, I'm gonna search for roughen edges. If you click and drag this to your nested sequence, you can see it makes it ultra smooth. So this is a good way if you have rough edges on your mask to kind of work around using that effect to get it more smooth. You can see the before and after. It just kind of cleans it up really nicely. Now I did want to point out that this doesn't work if the clip is not nested. So it kind of bypasses it. If I undo everything and I go back and just click and drag roughen edges to this, you can see it doesn't apply it. So it does need to be nested first. That way the mask is inside that nest before you add the roughen edges. You also have the other normal tools down below. Now, before I show you the other masking tools, I did want to mention that if you are new to Premiere Pro and are looking for a comprehensive way to learn the software, I did recently come out with a new online course to learn Premiere Pro from start to finish. It has over 6 hours of training videos that you can use to really level up your video editing. So if you're interested, be sure to check it out, linked in the video description. But let's take a look at the other masking tools inside Premiere. So to explore some of the other masks, let's say if we wanted to add maybe a mask to this clip here to cover and maybe pixelate this person's face. You can easily use the ellipse mask tool to do that. So with it selected, your clip selected, you can easily just draw around this person's face, maybe center it right here. And from here, what you can do is same thing, use the tracker to track forward and backward around this person's face. So I'm gonna click on this button here. You can see it's tracking it. So when we play this back, you can see it does a pretty good job tracking it, but it's still a little bit off. And with these controls, you have a few more options here. If we go back to the beginning, you'll notice that it's a little bit off center here. Now with these controls specifically, you have a few other options. You'll notice that when I select the selection tool and I select this mask, underneath you have clip and frame. If you need to make fine-tune adjustments to the keyframed tracker, you can choose frame and make your adjustments. So for example, I'm gonna go out forward here and make my adjustments, and this will create keyframes inside the path section. If we twirl down under transform, you can kind of see what's going on. If we go back to the beginning, you can see it's still a little bit off, so I'm just gonna drag this back on here. You can see the different keyframes that we're adding using the frame function here. So you can make fine-tune adjustments using the frame button inside the program monitor, where clip will apply it to the entire clip and tracked subject. So you can almost think of it frame being making small minor adjustments, and clip is kind of like a master control. Like let's say if you wanted the whole mask to be larger, you can click on clip and just make this really big, and that will update everywhere inside the mask. So it applies it to all the keyframes when you're under clip, and frame is more for specific adjustments. So that's kind of how those two tools work. So you can go back and kind of realign where your track subject is. And it doesn't take too long, but you can see that's how you can realign a mask that you create inside Premiere. Now from here, let's say if we wanted to pixelate his face, a good effect to use is called the mosaic effect. So I'm going to search for the mosaic effect inside the effects panel. I'm going to click and drag this to my clip, and you can see automatically it applies that unassigned mask to that mosaic effect. So now we've successfully blurred out his face. So this is a good way to utilize that effect. The other tools work just the same, the rectangle tool. So the pen tool, you can select and make different masks by clicking and dragging inside the program monitor. If you click and drag, you can see that you're making like a curve type of point. So if you needed a custom mask, this would be the tool that you could use to do that. And if you remember from the earlier versions of Premiere Pro, making masks was a little difficult. So I'm really glad they updated this and made it very easy to make masks and complicated masks inside Premiere Pro. Now, one question I got asked on my previous video about the new features is, how does this work with After Effects? And that's a really good question. So I had to dig in and find out for myself. Let's say if you want to send this clip to After Effects and do more advanced visual effects work, it doesn't actually work. Let's say if you right click and go to replace with After Effects composition, it'll say the object mask is unavailable inside After Effects. So currently you can't really cut out your subject and send it over to After Effects to do maybe camera tracking or more advanced visual effects work, but the normal masks will work over there. So what I would do in this case is, if you did want to send this to After Effects to do more work, you could export this out as maybe a video clip with an alpha channel and then send it over there and import it. And that would probably be the workaround to do that. Now, additionally, you can send over other clips, but it really depends on the effects that are applied to them. For example, this clip here, if I right click on it and go to replace with After Effects composition, it actually won't retain the effect in the mask. You can see once After Effects opens, it doesn't apply the mask or that mosaic effect. So some effects will transfer over and some effects won't. An example of an effect that will actually go over, let's say if I delete this and I add the Lumetri color effect, let's say if we click and drag this on here, we go down to basic color correction, and just for an example here, I'm just gonna brighten it up. And if I make a mask, let's say just around him, and assign this to the Lumetri color effect. Now if I right click and go to replace with After Effects composition, you can see it retains that information. So some effects will carry over from Premiere Pro to After Effects, and if that is, the normal masks will come with it, along with tracking information, or at least the path animation. So let's say if you track this over time, the mask path will be animated inside After Effects. Now what you can do is take an After Effects composition, import it inside Premiere Pro, and then use the Object Mask tool. Or in this case, that dynamic link composition, you could actually use the tool in. So for example, with this dynamic link composition, I can actually go and then use the Object Mask tool to then select even more subjects and track them. Granted, this might take a little bit more time and maybe use more processing power, but it still does the same thing that it would normally do, because Premiere Pro is treating this as a clip, essentially, whether it's in After Effects or not. It's just when you send it to After Effects, sometimes After Effects can't read the effects and the masking tools from Premiere Pro. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any other questions about this new tool, leave them down in the comment section below, and I hope I'll be able to answer any of them. But that does it for this video. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.